Hi, Simon Chappell here. I'm the Quit Alcohol Coach, and as always, I'm here to help you smash your sobriety. Don't forget to press the red button on the screen so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's new quit drinking videos every Tuesday and every Thursday. And if you need more support for quitting drinking, check out my Quit Alcohol program at joinbesober.com. Today, I wanted to talk about finding motivation when you want to quit drinking. I've talked before about how important it is to feel really excited and enthusiastic about what you're doing. I see sobriety as a lifestyle choice, and I got really excited and enthusiastic when I decided to quit. The last thing I wanted to do was feel down and as if I'd had something taken away from me. I wanted to celebrate my new sober life. Do you like my t-shirt? My wife got that for me on my recent 2-year sober anniversary. And I've been excited about sobriety ever since. If you can get yourself motivated and feeling really energized for what you're doing, you're a long way to winning the battle. Some of the traditional routes of quitting drinking, like Alcoholics Anonymous, have a really low success rate. Some of them are as low as 5%. And they teach people that you're forever in recovery. You're always going to be an alcoholic. It's a kind of negative stance that comes with a stigma attached to it. They don't talk about freedom from drinking. To me, yeah, I was an alcoholic, but I don't drink anymore. So how can I be an alcoholic? I feel like I'm free. I've broken free. I don't drink any longer. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not in recovery. I've become the best version of myself since I quit drinking. I had every reason to get excited, and I want you to feel excited and motivated about quitting drinking too. So I'm going to share some tips with you to ensure that you've got the right mindset and that you feel really energized and excited about the journey ahead of you when you decide to quit drinking. The first thing to do should be to write down all the reasons why you want to quit. Really get into the detail of what those reasons are, what alcohol's been doing to your life, what brought you to that place where you decided that you really want to stop drinking. And then start to get excited and feel really enthusiastic about it. Know how good your life's going to be when you actually move away from that place without all of those negative things going on that you've identified. You're going to want to make sure you've got a journal so you can get this stuff down and you can really explore it in depth. The second tip for staying motivated in sobriety is to think about the language you're using. When you hear yourself saying things like, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, pick yourself up on it. Start to become really self-aware of the way that you're talking to yourself. And when you do it, start to change it. I can't should become I can. Or even if you do use I can't, add the word but on the end. I can't now, but I'm trying, so that you can really start to reinforce that positive self-talk instead of focusing on negative internal dialogue. Forget what's gone on in the past. You're in the now, and you're in a much better place now than you were, and think about how good it's going to be in the future. My third tip is to start to notice anything that triggers you. And I don't just mean triggers to drink alcohol, anything that triggers a response, a reaction, a negative emotion, and then get really curious about it. Now, you might have read this book, Loving What Is by Byron Katie. That really helped me when it came to exploring anything that triggered me. And often this comes from our inner child, things that happened to us when we were much younger that we carried forward in a negative way into adulthood. Sure, they might have served us when we were younger, when we were trying to get our own way with our parents, but now all they do is cause us frustration and upset. Notice when that happens and write it down. So for example, it could be, when Paul forgets my birthday, I think he doesn't love me. Really get clear on the statement that makes you have that trigger, that negative emotion. And also make sure you apply a label to the emotion. Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it guilt? Is it shame? Use a very clear, specific label for the emotion. And then turn it around, which is what's recommended in the book, Loving What Is. Write down the absolute reverse of the statement and then start to explore it. So in that example of, when Paul forgets my birthday, it feels like he doesn't love me, it might become, When I forget my birthday, I don't love myself. Now, that sounds kind of odd, but when you start to explore it and then look at the behaviors that come with it and the behaviors around the trigger, it might well be that because we haven't been giving ourselves the self love and the self care that we need, that actually we've been avoiding our birthday, or we've been giving negative talk about our birthday to our partner. So they haven't celebrated it through fear, because we've been talking about how much we hate birthdays and how much we worry about people celebrating on our birthday. So they've purposely avoided it. So when you turn the statement around and you start to explore it, don't see it as you're blaming yourself, but actually start to inquire and look into what that alternative opposite statement is actually telling you. Because we can control our own thinking. The external world is just a projection of what we're thinking. If we're thinking negative things about somebody, that's exactly what we're going to see and what we're going to feel. But we can't control what other people do, and we can't control what has happened, what the reality is. But we can absolutely control ourselves. And if we can take a bit of ownership and change the way that we're thinking about things so that they don't seem like this enormous drama and people are being awful and horrible to us, and actually have some understanding and some compassion and some forgiveness for people, we can really let things go and we can love what is. I'd urge you to read that book, because it completely changed my mindset about the things that trigger me into having emotional responses. And it can be a huge help when it comes to quitting drinking as well. My fourth tip is to make sure that you've got the tools that work for you. You need to be excited, you need to feel really motivated, but you also want to have the strategies and the tactics for when some tough times come up. It could be cravings for alcohol. It could be emotions like I've just described. And you might use the tool of turning the statements around. Or you might find that walking the dog or going for a run or calling a friend is more useful. But discover what works for you ahead of time before you need to use it in the moment, and you're going to be really well set for success. My fifth tip for staying motivated in sobriety, as I mentioned, is to journal everything. I was writing in my journal every single day. Every negative emotion, every positive emotion, every victory, every setback. And I would explore it all in depth. I can't emphasize enough how important journaling is. And as you go forward day by day, you see yourself making progress, and it naturally motivates you. It naturally builds your enthusiasm, because you're doing better and better. Even when we have setbacks, we grow and we learn from them. We become stronger and we notice. And that's even more motivation. And it's like a springboard to bounce us forward into sobriety. My sixth tip for staying motivated is to immerse yourself in the sober community. Look at how well other people are doing and how they're talking about their alcohol-free journey. If you can see all the positive benefits that other people are experiencing, it's going to get you excited and motivated yourself. Make sure you connect with people who are on the same journey. Listen to podcasts, check out blogs, join programs if you can, where you can connect with other people. And of course, online support groups on Facebook and connecting with people on Instagram are all great ways where you can feel like you're part of something really special. And just watch what people are sharing. Look how good it is for them. Surely that's something to get excited about. My seventh tip for staying motivated is to make sure you've got a clear vision of where you want to be, and that you've got a plan to make sure you know exactly how you're going to get there. Think of a time when you've had a challenge in your life and how much better you felt when you had a plan to achieve what you wanted to do. That plan not only eases our mind, but it gets us excited about what we're doing. And it can feel difficult knowing how to put together a plan to get sober, to quit drinking. But if you look at the videos on my YouTube channel, it's all there for you. It's all there to discover, to help you find out the best ways of doing it and look at things that are going to work for you. So take your time, write out what I call a freedom plan. And bear in mind that when we quit drinking, that's just the first step. After we quit alcohol, so many things change in our lives. We become so much more self-aware. We start dealing with other things that perhaps haven't been right. We start addressing issues from way back in our past. We just find ourselves in a much happier place, much calmer, and far more able to deal with things that previously would have probably caused a childish meltdown. So get a plan together. I can't emphasize that one enough. And my eighth tip is to look at the bigger picture. not just how this is going to impact on your life, but how's it going to impact on the life of the people closest to you, your family, your friends, your children, your work colleagues. How are they going to be impacted by you being alcohol free? Surely it's all going to be positive. They're going to be enjoying your company so much more. They're going to love having you around. And that is an absolute gift and something to really get excited about. My ninth tip for staying motivated is just to keep it super positive. I mentioned listening to the language we use, but keep reminding yourself that your life is a reflection of your thoughts. If your thoughts are super positive, that's what's going to reflect back on you. Pay close attention to any negativity. Whenever negativity comes up, get it down in your journal, explore it, understand where it's coming from, and ask yourself if you need to take any specific action to change something. And also notice when you're feeling really positive. Celebrate that. It's a victory. And notice where that's coming from so that you can do more of the same thing. Get into the habit of positivity and enjoying what you're doing. And my 10th tip for staying super motivated is to make this whole journey fun. It doesn't need to be doom and gloom. Yes, the first week or two can be challenging. It can be a tough time, and there's loads of tips on my YouTube channel to help you through that. But after that, it's an amazing journey where you'll discover so much about yourself and you'll just become a better person. It really can be fun, especially if you surround yourself with an amazing community by immersing yourself in the sober world. So don't get down about it. Get excited, make the whole thing fun, and make sure that you reward yourself and have some treats to look forward to. You're going to be saving a ton of money when you quit drinking, so there's no reason why you can't treat yourself to something, maybe at one of the big milestones after 50 days alcohol free or 100 days alcohol free, a treat to a lovely spa for the day, or even a lovely holiday. Bearing in mind how much I was drinking every day, I could have probably afforded a round the world cruise if I'd wanted to. So make sure you've got some lovely rewards and that you work out exactly how to make this a fun and enjoyable experience for yourself. Because the more motivated and the more excited you get about this, the easier it's going to be.